I suggest to give a big applause so the people that are under the sun and wine, I understand them. I understand them. And after a few days of rain, I totally understand. But maybe if you give a big applause, people will... More. Okay. It seems that it is not having any effect. Okay. So I think we can start. As I anticipated at the beginning of this ceremony, there will be a surprise, and this is the surprise. So we will have an introduction before the concert, but let me introduce the artists in plural today. Today we have, in order to end the opening ceremony, a great artist, Rábade. Abe is a pianist, mainly a jazz pianist, even though he's very eclectic. And he's a very well-known pianist. He has published 15 albums, and he played in the major jazz festival around the world. For me, it's an honor. He's a great person, and we started collaborating a couple of years ago. We already had some experiments with the Post-Growth Innovation Lab, trying to start a dialogue between science and art and music specifically. So the idea was, since science evolves, like mixing different epistemologies, the same occurs in many forms of music, many genres of music, like jazz. Jazz is a contamination of different traditions attached to different cultures. So Abe, in the last few years, has been experimenting with this syncretism, mixing piano music, jazz piano music, with traditional Galician music. And this album, Botanica, is the result of this contamination. So you will see on the stage different musicians coming from different traditions as well, different style of music. And you will also see some dance and some visual videos. So without further ado, I give the floor to Abe, our little surprise. Welcome, enjoy.
Us? And us as well.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
This. Hello, welcome. I hope you enjoyed your wine. It is a pleasure to be here with Abe Rábade and Yorgos Kallis in a talk which brings together music, philosophy, and environmentalism. And this is part of our broader project at the conference to bridge the arts and sciences in this shared exploration of degrowth, which is very much what my research is all about. This is a talk about limits, which is probably familiar from Yorgos's book, Why Malthus Was Wrong and Why Environmentalists Should Care. And it was sparked by the metaphor of the piano in the opening pages, where the protagonist looks out over this sprawling city that he sees before him and is daunted by something which clearly doesn't have any limits. It's creation and growth without limits. And he compares the piano, which has 88 keys, and says, this is where the limitless comes from within. We have creativity within boundaries, and indeed sparked by boundaries. So we have 10 to 15 minutes to discuss this together before Abe takes us into his concert. And I suppose my first question is, Abe, is that how it works? Is this how you experience limits to creativity in your work when you look at the piano?
I think so. there's a couple of things going on. There are a couple of things going on whenever you go through a creative process. I'd assume that the first thing that goes on is really expansive. It's like an expansion. You have, like, for instance, the concert that you're about to see, to enjoy, I hope. You have classical music, you have jazz music, you have Galician traditional music, you have all the potential species of trees, flowers of Galicia, and that's really expansionist. So that's seemingly, like no boundaries, like no limits to it. But then the second part of the creative process is like really restricted. It has to be restricted. Like you really have to crystallize all that seemingly boundless stuff you work with to really get to the beauty of it. So limits have such a bad reputation. But I think we need them more than ever. We do need them more than ever. And in a creative process, the aftermath of that crazy expansionist view would be like lost in space, lost in thought, lost in no really real grain or real gist to what you're supposed to be putting in the time and space. We need limits for life, and we need limits for art too.
So I suppose much of what you're saying there is about a process of research and making compositional choices.
Right.
And Yorgos, I know that you're excited to have this conversation to think about parallels between limits in nature and limits in creativity. And I wondered if you saw any parallels there.
Yes, I found this analogy with art very useful, because the argument I was trying to make in the book, which is a little bit counterintuitive for ecologists or ecological economists like some of us in this room, it's that we've been trained to think of nature in terms of scarcity, in terms of we're not having enough, in terms of something that it's already pre-bounded and within which we have to constrain our desires and our capabilities. And the argument I was making, which of course is not mine, I was synthesizing things, it's an argument that has been made from many people from the Romantics, it's been in the center of indigenous philosophies or even of egalitarian pre-capitalist societies, and it's been with us since human thought has been with us. The argument I was making was a little bit to change this mindset and think of nature as abundant, as generous, as potentially giving us everything that we need in order to live a meaningful life, which I think is very much with what Abe was saying at the beginning. No? When we start, there is an abundance of possibilities that you can work with. And my argument was that within this abundance, we frame this abundance as something that's constrained, and all the efforts are how to overcome it, and in the process, we are destroying it. So it was a little bit of a plea of rethinking the abundance within which we live, which we have to accept, enjoy, and we can only do that by drawing the limits, like Abe described, for the composition. So I'm happy to hear, yes, that a little bit the intuition, a little bit what I very quickly read about the art of limitation within the arts has resonance also with someone who does that every day. So it wasn't just a stretched metaphor that I put there. But the main idea was that nature is abundant, is not limited. We might want to think of planetary boundaries in terms of overshoot, etc. But what I was trying to say with this book is like, let's try to change the mindset in thinking about abundant nature and us that need to be limited, not a nature that limits us and us that we are trying to overcome.
Mm-hmm. I suppose as a segue into how we can think about music as a way to explore that, you could tell us about that process in the context of your desk, Botanica. What was that research? What research did you do and what choices did you make?
There's like a dualism I love in Yorgos' book between autonomy and heteronomy. I really like that one. And I think it has a lot to do with what you're supposed to do with a work of this magnitude, because in a work that you mix like three different traditions, you'll hear like a septet, like a cello, a saxophone, guitar, a double bass, drums, percussion, piano, a lot of instruments of really different nature. So like, and then compositions that I had like at least 20 compositions at first, like 20 potential compositions. Then it shrinked to 14. And in the live performances, we do 12. So it's always about limitation. So it's like this positive side of limitation. And I really like the concept of autonomy and heteronomy, because there's like this fundamental difference between to be autonomous as being mature enough to put yourself limits, as opposed to heteronomy, which means like the limits are put to you from the outside. So that's like a concept we don't think about enough. And I actually read your book while I was writing some compositions of Botanica, and it made me think a lot. It made me think a lot about that. It made me think a lot, like I was reading at the same time the 1,000 Milliers by Guattari and Deleuze, and the whole concept of the rhizoma, of the experience, like an answer to your question, the experience, like the community, like Botanica is supposed to be like a little community of classical musicians, Galician traditional musicians, and jazz musicians, and we share what we know how to do. And my objective in the project was like to be the guest, like to put everyone in contact and not to force anything weird to anyone that doesn't want to put it. So it's just to find the point of connection where people can be themselves in a project that grows like a garden or like a forest. Because a garden sometimes depends, it's a French garden or English garden, but a forest, a Galician forest.
I think what you said there is really interesting for me, because you describe a process of uncertainty,
Right.
where you create conditions for something to emerge, perhaps.
Yes, emergency,
And I'm sure, as you know, like that, maybe that's conducive to degrowth features or conceptualizations of limits.
Yes, I mean, what I was trying to do is precisely to not to reconceptualize the growth, but like, because the growth, I think it's already conceptualized like that. It is conceptualized as a project of self-limitation within which we can flourish. As I said in the presentation before, like two keywords would be frugal, abundance. Now again, it's like the personal self-limitation of simplicity in order and together with abundance that it's around and you can enjoy if you limit yourself. So the growth is already conceptualized like that, at least if we take seriously its French tradition, which is like a French garden.
But French garden's very manicured.
Yes, okay, all right. Wrong.
Sorry, I'm a historian.
Something like an urban garden, let's say, like
more
yes,
messy.
with a little bit with a Galician forest. Yes, so I was trying a little bit to give different words to that type of imaginary, and in that way fortify or intensify the argument of the growth as being that thing, in contrast to arguments that environmentalists, that was why environmentalists should care, that we environmentalists are sometimes very often prone to fall into, which is the argument that we are running out of things, you should know because we know, and you should listen to us, that we are running out of things and the way you live is not the proper one, and there is too little in this planet for everyone to go around, and you should do this, A, B, C. Which is partly, we do it sometimes, some environmentalists do it more than others, and then it's the way also that the environmentalists are caricatured in order to get the majority of common senses of people against environmentalism, right? So I was trying to say that the growth is offering something different. It was in reaction of people who were trying to package also the growth into this type of argument and say, no, what we have here is very different than that type of standard environmentalist discourse that you might be familiar with, and I don't like it as much as anyone else.
I'd like to go forwards with that metaphor of the gardening, because I think often in degrowth we talk about cultivating our garden and acting as gardeners, and that kind of care and process of what do you grow in your garden, which maybe has parallels with this of the choosing the plants. Maybe you can talk a bit more about the plants that are in Botanica?
Yeah. Like the whole concept of Botanica has to do with the species, like in a really open way. And you talked about emergency, and that's really important. Because for me, the process was to have like a previous experience with just the jazz musicians. So I did the same pieces I wrote based on the plants and on the trees and on the flowers. Just played it in a totally jazz context. Then I practiced with Rábade, with the traditional Galician singer. And we put together like a couple of rough concerts just to play, to develop that stuff. And then with the more classically oriented side of it, I did the same. So, I was putting like the separate pieces first, and then like whenever everybody was comfortable with the music, I put it together. But on the process of trying the music with the different sides of this project, I changed a lot of stuff. And that's how plants work, how they grow. And that's how they tell you. You have to listen to them. You have to listen to them.
Abe actually does listen to plants.
Go ahead.
Well, there's a technique where you stand in front of a tree.
Right.
And you feel the tree. Perhaps you could tell us about that one.
Wow, I didn't expect this. Okay, there's something that goes on with the field of trees, and there's a lot of research based on this. And I mean, not only trees, but like streams of water also. And if you tune yourself, like if you empty yourself enough, there's something you feel, you sense. Like I have some personal research, and I shared my experience with some people who do this also. Like for instance, chestnut trees, to me, it's like saliva here. Oaks is here. Let me think about the names in English. How do you call this one? Abeto. I don't know the name of it. Abeto is like the Christmas tree.
Pine.
Not the pine, the more sophisticated one.
Oh. In England, we have pine trees.
But Abeto is like a conifer. It's one of the type, but it's not exactly that. Okay, those here. So it's like you sense the tree, and it's the tree. It's not like imagination. It is the tree. I mean, we did it together a couple of times, so you know what I'm talking about. So
I couldn't do it, so yeah.
So that, from that, like, like it happens with pets, it happens with animals, like we all have this potential to communicate. So, I mean, that was after I did Botanica, actually, but it has to do with the whole concept of trying to listen to many things, like, for instance, just to be quick, but one of the tunes I wrote for this show that you're about to listen to is Narciso. And when I visited Rogueira, which is a beautiful forest in the mountains of Lugo, in Ocourel Mountains, in the first stage of these mountains, they have narcissus. And I was reading the Metamorphoses of Ovid, and he has the myth of Narcissus, and I used Ovid as the text that David is going to sing in Gallego. So that's one example. Like I tried the species, the different plants, to be in the center, but for them to be links between many things that have nothing to do. Like the Narcissus has to do, obviously, with the myth of Narcissus by Ovid, because he wrote about Narcissus. So it's like, in a way, it's like an epitome of the plant, and the tune serves as a communicator, as a link.
So on that theme of bringing together different knowledge traditions to explore a topic, I suppose we can ask, like, how do you think the seeing of degrowth through music adds new perspectives to environmentalism?
How does that?
It's a big question. How does the seeing of limits through music bring new perspectives to degrowth for you?
No, I think I'll repeat myself now, but I think, yeah, on the one hand, is as the metaphor. So as the metaphor, I think it's important to see limits in a different way. So seeing it through art helps us. But on a second, more direct plane, I think what Abe is doing, or what other artists are doing, is important in order to creating a different aesthetic, no? Like that it's not the standard aesthetic that you might argue has been produced within a growth society. I mean, apart from the reality of it, the industry, the commercial part of it, also as form, it is part of the society that has created. So I'm not so sure I can draw the analogy well in music, but I've thought about it in terms of movies. By talking with people that we were talking culture and limits, and then by discussing, I came to this realization. It's not so much in the book, but it's the standard plot of the Hollywood movie, no? Right? That you have a hero that faces a limit. If you read the guideline how to write a plot, they tell you by the 1/3 of the movie, the hero must face a limit. Then the rest is like the challenge with the limit, and then the last 1/3 must be the solution where the hero overcomes the limit, or if it's a more progressive movie, finds something new by encountering the limit. But in most cases, like in a Western movie, a cowboy movie, the Indian probably is the movie, you know, they fight and then they kill them and they overcome the limit. And then I thought, like, okay, it's not an accident that this form of art appeared exactly where the Indians were killed in the Native Americans, I mean, sorry for using this term. The Native Americans were killed in the far west, which was exactly where Hollywood was founded. So that's a bit of a shallow thought. I'm sure people in environmental humanities have much more to say on that. But I was thinking that there some link between the type of art form and the type of art story that is being said and the conditions of its production. So if we want to start creating or producing or prefiguring a degrowth society, we definitely need different aesthetic forms, different plots, different types of music, different compositions.
I agree. Thank you. On that note, shall we hand it over to Abe?
Okay. So thank you very much. I would like to introduce the members of the band one by one. So we start with the double bass, Pablo Martín Caminero.
Thank you.
Bueno.
Ciao.
Thank you. Pabliño! We have on drums, Naima Acuña.
That's very good.
You're welcome. Super! On cello, Jimena Andión. Sí. On guitar, Virgilio da Silva. Ese Virgi. On tenor saxophone, Daniel Juárez. And on voice and traditional Galician percussion, Davide Salvado. So we'll start with a diptych dedicated to the birch tree. And before we go on, I want to introduce also two really special members of this group, which are Ramon Campos in the sound, and all the images you're about to see are made by Jacobe Melendrez. So the birch tree is a tree that changes a lot from winter time to springtime. So the part of the diptych in winter time is called Naked Healer because it has this really white cork, the white during the winter time, and it looks like a healer to me, like it's really enigmatic and really spectral and really powerful. And in springtime, the birch converts into a really joyful tree, really different tree, really joyful tree. So I love the way the wind and the sun and the shapes the leaves do. So I call that, it reminds me of bebop music. So it's called Vestida de Bop, which means dressed like in bebop. So, Menciñeira nua and Vestida de Bop. I hope you enjoy. Thank you very much.
Minha nai é mai la tua conhecer as ervas todas deixa-lhes o apanhá-las que quiten as penas todas, deixa-lhes logo apanhá-las, que quiten as penas todas. miña nai quero as tocas branquiñas de vidueira anda mas vir de Vilalba daquelas que hai de Chile. Manda más vir de Vilalba daquelas que hai de Chinela. a lo enriba daquel monte hai un pozo d'auga clara onde a Virxe da Franqueira lava os pés a mai la cara. Bailado. Mira como Freixo brila, súas follas son douradas, fruto seu corpo de prata, negros gomos nas súas callas, e la 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 la. Aire! Subín árbore da vida, fun quen eu quería ser, babei chejei o alto, enxartei o meu querer, a la 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 la, ai la 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 la. Cantarei pola tua vida, ti que bailas como xeito de meniño que me miras entre as poliñas do freixo. Ai la 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 la, ai la 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 la. Chama nena e a bailare, chama nena e a bailare, chama quen che parecera, a min deixame quedar, ai la 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 la, ai la 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 la.
Miguel Pardo, baile. Miguel Pardo.
Eu son ti, xa o sei. Non me engana a miña imaxe. Ardo de amor por mí. En lapas que prendo e padezo. Quen son seductor, seducido, ca seducción esta miña en mí está o meu querer, a riqueza min ser o faime. Ai, se eu pudesse, oxalá, do corpo meu desprender-me, extrañaré la diamante do que amo arredar quererme. Tórname fiel esta pena, xa non me queda na vida longa estadía. Porque ao dío na idade primeira morrer non me pesa. Si hei de deixar con morrer esta pena. Afáyate en follas de plata. Por falta de sangre nas polas. Durante o teu vivo meus beijos en follas de fallas en A ver, Rábade. A castaña no ourizo eu ben sei o que ela fai. Si é pequena ela medra, si é madura ela cai. A castaña no ourizo eu ben sei o que ela fai. Si é pequena ela medra, si é madura ela cai. Chama nena a bailar, chama nena a bailar, chama quen che parecer a min, déxame quedar. Ah, la 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 la, la 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 la, la. Agora que me puxeron a pandeireta na man, se me peta na cabeza canto daqui a mañán. Ah, la 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 la, la 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 la, la. Agora vou acabar, deixo a miña pandeireta que na saiba tocar. Ah, la 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 la, la 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 la, la. Miguel. Foi vos no monte Medulio, uns anos antes que Cristo, quando os galaicos quixeron no canto de ser escravos renunciar a propia vida co cruel veleno do teixo. O teixo colle o segredo que un morto non dixo en vida. O ben primeiro da terra chegan depois ata as polas e acaban libres o vento. Cando saen polas follas. Salgueiro prende de pola e amieiro de raíz, amores que foron do outro, non valedes para mí. Salgueiro prende de pola e amieiro de raíz, amores que foron do outro, non valedes para mí. Laranxeira dos 100 anos, bota raíces de prata, tomar amores non custa, olvidalos sí que mata. Salgueiro do río, raíces da outra banda, eu quería che falar e o corazón non me manda.
David Salvado, David Salvado, voice and percussion. On tenor sax, Dani Juárez. On guitar, Virgilio da Silva. On drums, Super Naima Acuña. On cello, Super Jimena Andión. On double bass, one of my best friends and a real good company in music, Pablo Martín Caminero. And we have a guest. I found her outside. I love how she sings. They sing lovely together, so I wanted her to sing a song. So we have Franci González on voice for this next tune.
Franci. Un aplauso para Franci, por favor. Ay, chamanena y a bailar, a chamanena y a bailar, a chamaquenche pataresa, ay, a mí deixame quedar, ale le 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 le, ay le 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 la. Ah. Ay, non me toque la puñeta, ay, non me toque la puñeta, ay, niña, ay, non me crió, pra tu toca la pandeireta, ay, la le 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 le, ay, le 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 la la, aire. Botallo punto por baixo, ai botallo punto baixeiro, ai botallo punto por baixo, ai ajusto do mariñeiro, ai le 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 le, ai le 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 la la. Ah, le la le la le la le la, ai la le la le la le la le la, ai la le la le la le la le la, ai la le la le la le la le la. Aire. Hai unha noite no muiño, hai unha noite non é nada. Hai unha semaniña enteira, hai esa sí que é muiñada. Ai la le 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 le, a le 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 la la. Le la le la le la le la, a la le la le la le la le. Ai la le la le la le la le la, ai la le la le la le la le. Ora le la le la le la le la, ai la le la le la le la le la, ai la le la le la le la le la, ai la le la le la le la le la. Le la le la le la le la, ai la le la le la le la le la, ai la le la le la le la le la, ai la le la le la le la le. Unha le la le la. Esto sí que de crecemento, va. Máis alto. Ay la le la le la le la le la, ay la le la le la le la le la, ay la le la le la le la le la, ay la le la le la le la le la. Francis González.
Thank you very much, Francis González. We're going to do our last tune. It's dedicated, obviously, being from Galicia, we have to dedicate a tune to the oaks, because this is a land of oaks. And this piece has two parts. The first part mixes like a fugue with an alala, which is a traditional song form from Galicia. And the second part of the tune is also a diptych. It's called Carballesa de Duir. It's like a traditional rhythm from Galicia called Muñeira Bella. I hope you guys enjoy the concert. It's been a pleasure to play for you. Thank you very much.
Francis, necesito a miña pandeireta. ¿Cómo es? Sorry. sete forest. Deixame unha relembranza en cada carballo verde, un ramiño de esperanza. Nunca vi como me he casado